Oh, good to hear. Good to hear. I'm just gonna wait for Anika to join us back again.
Hello.
Back. We're
Back,
back.
back. And now I can hear ya. All good, all good.
Thing, proper thing. Yeah, it looks like you couldn't handle the screen record at the same time, so it's gonna be the long thing by the looks of things. But hey,
Bless.
yeah.
No
So
worries, no worries.
we're sort of like 10 minutes in, right?
Hi.
Yeah.
I'm going to be bare looking at the comments like, what people are saying. But let me try refrain from doing that.
Exactly. So today, thank you everybody
Yes.
for joining us. All right. So today we're gonna start off with the introduction. So I'm gonna ask, who are you?
Who am I? So bear with me if I like look down and on my notes and on my laptop and stuff because my dyslexic self can't remember everything in my brain. So this is
Yeah.
why I keep looking down and stuff. But Recall Youth is a startup organization that myself I'm starting up. Why I wanted to start up Recall Youth because my background in youth work. I've always been interested in youth work. I've been a volunteer from like the age of 14. I did Girl Guides and I've always been involved in youth activities myself. And because I got kicked out of school and I kind of went to kind of the youth worky side, I felt like that saved my life kind of thing. And that kind of put me back into college and made me want to do different stuff and made me, eventually go to uni and get my degree in that. And when I finished doing my degree, I found it really challenging to get a youth work job because that's when Labour went. And then, we had to just try and find, it was more the charity sector that was coming through with all the jobs. So I managed to get a job with the Children's Society and I was delivering return home interviews. And that kind of built up my passion around safeguarding. But I originally had the passion around sexual health because I did my dissertation for my youth work in Rotterdam. I got to stay in Amsterdam for 3 months to write up my dissertation and to do my research around sexual health. And so after coming back that, I did originally wanted a job around sexual health, but Brooke had that unlock and it was kind of hard to get into Brooke at that time. And so I kind of went down the other charity route and got my skills around in that area. But I was still passionate around sexual health. And when I found out that you can go and do your masters and you can get funding, and then when I saw that you can have a sexual health masters, I was like, yes, I'm going to do that, follow my passion and get on to the next level. So while doing that, I applied for Brooke and then I managed to get into Brooke. So I got my dream job in the end and I got all my experience around sexual health. But while doing these jobs, I felt like, and when I was doing the missing return home interviews, I felt like there was barriers for the BME community to access any of these services or to just go and to get the information and stuff. So that got me thinking that I needed to start my own organisation. So Recoil Youth, and the name Recoil because I wanted to emphasize black hair and how we got coils and how we can bounce back from situations. So that's why it's called Recoil Youth. And it's basically a platform that's going to be for youth and by youth. So it's going to be a leadership platform that will have programs for young people to get qualifications and to get a start in life. But also within those programs, it's going to be giving them the education around sexual health, around mental health, around try and access the services that are out there for them, kind of thing. So
Yeah.
that's a bit about Recoil Youth and moi and why I'm here. So yeah, I'm here to talk to you about the importance of why we need to do sexual health with our young people, our children at home.
Absolutely. I'm really glad that you agreed to join us and everything else. Now, we've only met once before, and
Just
no,
no. Couple times.
tell a lie, tell a lie. Yeah.
I got pictures of you before. Don't get it twisted. I ain't posted them yet.
True. And do you know what? You know when you connect to someone's energy and that.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. So my spirit tech to you.
Thank you. Vice versa.
Absolutely. So do you know what I mean? For us to have this conversation as we do, it's nothing. It's nothing. This is just how we do. Do you know what I mean? This is how we just reason. But again, bringing up them conversations within our community is very, very awkward. Now, when you mentioned around when you was posting that, you was mentioning about the stigma and
taboo. We don't talk about it. Sex? What? We don't talk about that. Anything sexual? What's that? But yeah, pure messages are getting still embedded into the young people, and also as adults as well.
Exactly, but they're getting the messages from everywhere else. You know what I mean? Like you said, so where are they getting the messages? Are they considering our values around that sort of stuff? Do you know what I mean? So we're gonna go into that, but no, right. So today's topic today is let's talk about sex and relationships with our children. Yeah. So in terms of that, we're gonna start talking off in terms of like. There seems to be pretty much like a it's been there for a while actually, like a subcultures around sex and relationships. So you know, if I just left you to lead on that, if that's okay.
Okay. Subcultures. So when we're talking about sex and relationships, I feel like the young people are getting messages from, like we say, from media, from music, from films, from TV, in the playground, at school. They're getting it from loads of different areas. And I feel like we need to be having these discussions at home to kind of understand the different subcultures of the sexual informations that they're getting, and if it fits within our values, within the home, and within wider society values, and also the law as well, if it fits in within the law. So this is what I feel like we need to be having these conversations. So hold on, let me just go back to, what was our first point? Oh yeah, so I want to know the difference between scientific, cultural and society terms of sex and relationship. And I feel like a good way to do that with young people is to do to A to Z of sex. So you're sitting down with young people, you just write out A to Z, the alphabet A to Z, and you sit down with them and you say, you can literally say anything. If you want to swear, you can swear, but it's just to get their understanding of their knowledge of sex and sexual and relationships. So you'll start off with A and you'll be like, think of a sexual word that you know. It could be a sexual act, it could be a sexual body part, or something to do with relationships. So they can pick like ass, or they could pick anus, and then B, boobs, breast. And it's unpicking the different terms and kind of to understand the different language. Because even with the word B for breast, you can have loads of different ones like balloons, you can have babylons, and it's understanding why are there certain terms big, why do we describe the size of the breast, and it's unpicking those conversations with young people. So it's understanding the different terms, and I think it's important for them to know the scientific terms for when things does arise and they need to go for checkups, and they'll go there and they're like, to the doctors, oh, my fairy hurts, and the doctor's like, what's your fairy? So like, if they knew the scientific terms, and if they knew the different body parts as well, because a lot of young, especially girls, do not know their vagina and the body parts, and they think the vagina is the whole thing, but the vagina is actually the hole going inside. So it's just knowing the different parts of the body parts, and it's being educated. And it's being confident as well, confident as a parent to be able to have those conversations with the young people. And I feel like even as parents, if they feel like they're nervous and want some support around it, there's information out there. You can go on to Brook is an amazing website to go on to get information around sexual health. And it's, even if it's you sit there with the young person, you do the quizzes on them on the website with them, and just to get that information. And it's getting the positive, right information as well, because like we said, they're getting messages from a lot of places, and we need to make sure it's the correct information that they're getting.
For real, for real. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's good, because
sorry, I'll blabble on a bit more.
No, carry on.
I should pause a little bit so you can give a little.
No. You carry on. Yeah, because this is about you sharing, because like I said, your voice and your knowledge needs to be shared, and you know what I mean. These discussions just need to happen. Do you know what I mean? Hence why. So, you know what? So when we was talking about that, was how? All right then. So we're saying that, but how do we go about it practically, having these conversations as a parent?
And it's the timing as well. I think it's ongoing. The conversation isn't like you got to sit down and we're gonna have the bees and the what did they used to say, the birds and the bees conversation. Yeah. But no, it's an ongoing conversation. It's a thing that you do constantly. So when you're first teaching them about their body parts, or what are we going to be cultural? Are we going to say pom pom? Are we going to say really, like, what are we going to teach them as their body parts? So it's starting from young and teaching them that their body parts are for them, and it keeps on going. And so this is why I feel like, even though we've got the battle with having SRE in schools, but like this is why we're trying to push it for schools, because the discussions and the education is not happening at home. So if we was to have them at home, we wouldn't need to push for it to be in school so much. So if we start at the age when it's age appropriate, talking about the different aspects of sex and relationships. So you talk about the negative relationships. So when we used to be young and we used to say, oh, don't talk to strangers. So it's talking about those kind of relationships. Why don't you talk to strangers? But when we go to the doctors, we do talk to strangers. Like, we need to talk about the difference of professionals and the different people that are in the world that we can trust. And it's having those discussions ongoing, and it's not just the one discussion, it's just ongoing at different ages and different points in their life.
Yeah. But it does require an element of planning and forethought, because as our children grow, so from the young age, you're teaching them about their body. Age appropriate sort of thing. So when you refer to things like the theory or whatever you want to call it, that's where it sort of starts. Do you know what I mean? And I suppose it's about maintaining that, really, isn't it?
Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Contain the consistent messages, even though the messages will change and develop and get more as they get older. But it's starting with those messages about their body parts, how it's for them, the different names for them, how it's healthy to look, to check. Because we need to be doing the sexual health screenings, like going to the dentist, like going to the opticians. There needs to be no taboo around this kind of thing. So there needs to be a thing that we openly discuss and have like if you check for if you think about, if you've got a checkup for the dentist, think, oh, I'd ever have a conversation around sex, like try and associate it with something that you need to regularly check up on.
Yeah. Because I know for some people, good practices is before they even enter into a relationship, and they say, all right, we've connected, yeah, we're going to take it to the next level. Listen, I want to see your green card first.
this is
you know what I mean?
For real? For real? Or this is the good practice, but then some practice, like some people will go off other people's, but you can't go off other people's. You need to be responsible for your own sexual health. You can't be going off everyone else's.
Exactly. And is in terms of just to kind of put things in context around research, and I'll probably dragging the conversation a bit forward a bit now. What sort of the statistics? Is there statistics, much research around
well, the BME community in general is just the higher population for STIs. If I double check, the Black Caribbean to be more, I can't say that word, specific.
Yeah.
I can say it,
You
specific.
said it.
Black Caribbean communities are disproportionately affected by STIs. So I think that's just the fear of not going to get checked, or the culture of not using condoms, and being part of bareback gang, and there's these kind of things. And I bet those statistics are probably, it hasn't got the age brackets, but it'll probably be more between the youth culture and them not probably getting checked up. But also the adults as well, because they're stuck in their ways. They think they've got their one partner and they don't need to get checked up no more. But who says to say that partner's not doing elsewhere and doing other things? And it needs to be a thing that you go in dentist, you go in sexual health clinic, like every, yearly annual checkup kind of thing, at least.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. So,
and so that's the kind of thing that you should do, and kind of show to your children that you're taking responsibility in that as well. I would say you might at first cringe and feel embarrassed that you're talking to your child, but if you're in a relationship and your child sees you're in a relationship, they say, yeah, we're going for a checkup, if they're old enough to know about sex and stuff, but that you're going for a checkup, but for sexual health, the same way you'll tell them you got a dentist appointment, the same way you'll tell them you got an optician, it needs to come more normal within the household.
Yeah. So
especially if you want them to come to you if they've got any issues as well.
Yeah. So in terms of like themes and like cultures and stuff, with young people, what sort of things are you observing? Like, what sort of
I've observed in my kind of experience, I would say how sexual harassment is just calm. Like they don't know the actual law behind sexual harassment. Like when I think about it, I think about carnival, for example, when you're just start whining behind someone, but that is sexual harassment in a way, but you need to kind of make sure you got consent to do it. So when you're holding on and the girl's trying to back off and go, that's not consenting, she's not saying that this is okay. Clearly you need to understand that you need to understand consent and body language. I know that not everything's just saying yes and no. You need to understand body language. You need to that's one aspect of the carnival. And another bit I'll say is the music and what they're getting in from, like, the music. Because I said, what lyrics did I send? I sent you Keisha and Becky. And I love that tune,
Yeah. And you know what? The maddest thing was, for me, I seem to home in on all anything sort of like drill related. And it didn't even come up on my radar, sis. It didn't even come up on my radar, because anything that's not along those violent sort of tendencies, I feel it's safe to kind of play in the car. But I think as parents, a lot of the time, we can just easily just play music and not even quite understand. So come on, put recite some of the lyrics.
Get the lyrics up. Where was it again? Where were the lyrics? So what I tend to do, because my nephew, he's into this drill and he's into this trap kind of music. So when he's listening to it, and I'm not going to lie, I like it as well. I kind of buck my shoulders to it as well, kind of thing. But I will have discussions with him. So I will pull up a lyric, for example. So both hands on the back when I tap it, grab it, slap it, beggy a savage. Let me show you a magic trick. You can have my dick, after that man vanish. And I was like, to my nephew, I'm like, is that an appropriate way to treat a lady? Like, after, what did I say? You can have a dick after a man and vanish. Like, what? I said I asked him, what do you understand about that? And then try to unpick it and say, is that an appropriate way to, like, treat a lady? What's kind of a different way? And it's unpicking these messages to not take it as base value and to get what their understanding of what it is, and then tell them the more positive way about it. And then if you carry on reading the next bit, two milfs in a whip. Bro, he wanted a bit. Told him he can manage. This baby face is an advantage. Man still show a big girl what a man is giving. My screw face, she caught me staring. What you expect when your skirt is so short? I was like, wow, okay. So pulled it up again. So I was saying to my nephew again about what do you feel about when girls wear short skirts kind of thing? And I was like, oh, if they want to wear it, they want to wear it. I'm like, okay, that's a good attitude to say. But but I wanted him to understand why I kind of was picking at him. I'll go, do you feel like there's anything wrong about that lyric? And he was like, he's kind of judging her for wearing a skirt. I'm like, yeah, he is kind of judging her for wearing a skirt. And do you think that's acceptable? And he'll be like, no. So it's just having these conversations with so they know what's right and what's wrong, not just taking it for face value. And I'll tell him, this is entertainment purpose. It's for them to entertain, for people to get the shock factor, for people to get excited. So you can't take it like this is what life is about, like this is the way to move forward. So it's having those discussions with young people about it. And you can enjoy the music, because music's meant to be entertainment. So if you're enjoying it, you can enjoy it, but it's being conscious aware of the messages that you're getting from it.
Wow. And that's the thing. I think when I was working with young people, right, there is what in the context of drill music, what I found was that some people have a different relationship. It's about how it impacts them personally.
Yeah.
For some people, it's just whatever,
background noise, maybe.
Yeah. And it's, you know, it's the beat, and you know what, they're looking at the lyrical style or whatever. Whereas some people are really internalizing that, and that is forming the way they view the world, society, and people.
Yeah, or gas them up for the day. Like, this is me. Like, I'm embodied in the whole of the music. Yeah.
Exactly. Because you know what, but at the same time, you know, let's face it. Why? I was at when I was at school, I was a 90s bashment youth. You understand me? So,
so you was best skinning out and winding up. But did you know what? There's always been nasty lyrics. There's always been vulgar, disgusting, homophobic words and messages that we've always been getting. But we've just never had the discussions about it. You just assume for them to just know what is right and wrong kind of thing.
Yeah.
And I do think for like my generation, I feel like the ones that I feel that didn't look kind of embodied kind of the culture and stuff, it's because they probably didn't get the positive message at home, and they got kicked out of school, so they didn't get the messages in school, and they didn't engage with the youth work service, so they didn't get the messages in there, and now everyone's calling them rapey in the community because they didn't get the messages to, you know, to have those conversations. And again, if we're talking about people getting nicknames and stuff about being the rapey guy, and this is something that can happen within the family as well, like you mentioned in the discussion that you had with Naomi, and how you can have the uncle that's the pervy uncle. But it's just truth behind it. Why are we not having these discussions? Why are we not prosecuting the uncle? Why are we? It's the breaking the barriers within our family for us to move forward as a community, to move forward as a family. It's just a shame. And I did touch on it in my dissertation, the different barriers that we have to access sexual health, to get support, to ask for help kind of thing. We can touch on them now?
Yeah, please. It's valuable.
Touching them now. So, the barriers that I came across for us to access support, to get help, is trust, as I mentioned, shame, working with the police, and I put that working with the police is bigger than trust and shame put together. Like, that's just like a big thing, and just lack of awareness in general. And breaking that down with trust. Trust. I asked professionals, let me put this in front of me. I asked professionals, 64% of workers felt that BME, children and young people, confidence level to engage is lower compared to their white counterparts. The workers felt like their low confidence level to engage was due to lack of trust in statutory services. They do not trust their professionals, and lack of representation in the support services, no one to relate to, and doesn't fulfill a need. So one project worker said they felt One project worker stated for why they feel BME children and young people have low confidence to engage is because of the stigma attached to Black youth. It's a lot harder for them to have confidence to engage through the fear of them being judged by face value rather than their individual support need. So when a young Black person comes to the service, they feel like they got the stigma of every Black youth that's coming to that kind of service rather than the actual need that they have. So that's just the trust in general. And then shame. BME young people feel like they don't need support and engaging will make them snitch, whereas they're unaware of the future implications of not engaging. Culturally, there tends to be more concerns from young people of a BME background around family and will make of the concerns around them, as they are often more reluctant to engage with the support. So here they're saying that their concerns, culturally there tends to be more concerns for young people of BME background around family will make, the concerns is around they wouldn't access support because of their family will be more embarrassed that they're accessing support around sexual health, that they're accessing support around mental health. So this is why they won't access the support. So it's a shame that they will bring on to the family. So that's around shame. Then working with the police, children and young people may fear of immigration. So not everyone's able to actually just stay in this country. So to engage with the police, they're thinking, now I'm getting sent back to wherever I'm meant to go, kind of thing. Even if the police are involved, young people may feel like they actually can't even keep them safe anyway. So why am I talking to the police when they can't keep me safe? The criminalisation of BME communities and the racial profiling, obviously that just prevents them from engaging the police, because if they tell them something, they just feel like they're just going to be locked away anyway because of who they are. Child criminal exploitation not really being recognised, but obviously is starting to now. And the fear of getting in trouble with the police in breach of court orders. So like if they've already been in trouble before, if they come to ask for the police for help, they might put the further impact on something that they've had already, kind of thing. And then awareness, it's just the lack of awareness of the services and the help and the support that is out there, the lack of awareness that there is Black people within these services, that there is people that you can communicate and engage with. So it's sharing these knowledges. It's like, I like Matthew's platform. We think it's got to be a platform that you share information and get knowledge out there to everyone. Like that is what's needed. We need to get the information out to people so that they're aware that there's help and that they can access these stuff. So these are kind of the 4 barriers I feel like within the BME community is preventing us from moving forward to access sexual health and to, you know, better ourselves within the community, I believe.
So, you know what? I want to pull back just to the music because we kind of looked at so the current youth music and that, how does it impact the way young people hold value on relationships? So like how does it inform the way what young people will accept in relationships?
It's because it's the messages that they're getting. If they're hearing how to treat a woman or how to treat a woman, how to be in a relationship, there's in these songs, they're not trying to form any attachments. They're not trying to impress the girls. If anything, they're trying to impress the boys to show off what they've got and stuff. They're just treating the girls as objects and their personal kind of possessions kind of thing. So it's the messages in the songs do kind of influence how they can think and move forward in relationships. But this is why it's important to have those discussions to break down those kind of thinking and taking it in.
Yeah, absolutely. So looking at that, I want to kind of move on to like one of the next points around it's kind of already been brought up by one of the comments already around victim blaming culture around sex within the community, because
Yeah.
you know what, people, it's been going on for time, hasn't it, in terms of how people, if a young person makes a decision to get involved with somebody, that person will talk, yeah, and that mods up their reputation.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
mean, that's just one aspect, but yeah, if you could expand on that, really.
But then it's the person that gets the lash from it, because a situation. Well, I was just thinking about the messages and songs and stuff that we get again. So I sent you a lyric about, what is that, a Vibes Cartel song about schoolgirl don't fucking in the school bus. Sorry
Yeah.
for swearing,
Oh, no,
but it's
no.
like that message is saying that the girl should take responsibility of not doing these kind of objectives on the school bus. But let's talk about the boy that's engaging with a girl on the bus. But what's the boy? Is he an adult? Is he another school pupil? Why are we not telling boys not to engage in these sexual activities? So it's putting, already girls are victim blamed for just being a girl kind of thing. So it's breaking down these messages that the young people get, so they don't automatically victim blame girls. And again, like you touched on with a conversation with Craig around sexuality, is like, as soon as a male could be doing loads of different sins, like out robbing, doing anything, as soon as he's exposed for being gay, it's the worst thing ever. Like, it is victim blamed and shut down for everything around that. But then let's unpick all the other stuff that could have happened and why it's got to this situation, and other people that it could affect in this situation. I feel like we're always quick to judge and put people down rather than finding out their story.
I'm trying
In
to.
like, and I don't know if in the community it makes us feel better that we all come together and hate these people, but we need to stop victim blaming people and putting people down. Someone needs to stand up and, break down the reasons why people do these things and understand people and individuals a lot more.
Yeah, because you know what, I'm gonna go back to another Vibes Cartel. When people are shouting free word boss, I'm like,
I'm not
because
gonna lie, I have tweeted that once.
yeah,
I have tweeted it.
listen, because one of the other lyrics that kind of got to me is when one of the tunes he talks about bear school girl give me deep throat. Yeah, I'm
School
like,
girl.
Gertrude, you're a big
School
man.
girl.
What? Where are you going with that?
But then in the 90s, it was telling not to school girl not to fuck in the school bus. But then he's getting deep throat by girl. But why is it always and it's like, it's the toxic masculinity, isn't it? Again, like putting down females so much in the society for us to blur the visions for men to actually treat girls okay.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And you know what? You know, young people, they kind of accept what they see as well. Do you know
At
what
face value, without actually, because they ain't even got the cognitive to be able to reflect yet to actually understand anything. So whatever messages and stuff they're getting, they take it at face value. So if you can't intercept and be able to get in there to give them those positive messages, they're just taking all these negative ones, and that's forming their basis and their values and their norms of what a relationship and how sex is meant to be like.
You know what? And while we're at it, while we're at it, at the same time, I'm just kind of thinking about corporate responsibility. I'll mention this in another talk about CSR. Now, I'm looking at about corporate social responsibility, not less about the money, yeah, and more about morally, because morally it causes more damage. So again, there's certain things that are kind of making it more difficult for our young people. So again, we look about corporate. All these tunes are playing on mainstream,
And they're probably not even off black platforms either.
nah. They're all playing on mainstream, government license, yeah, BBC, right?
We already know that the media is not here for black people as well. So this is why we have to have our own platforms to be able to do these kind of things. So they already like to portray us as dangerous, rather dangerous, exotic, amazing, like sports stars and something, or villains, like really bad, nasty kind of people. Those are the kind of only things that we get portrayed as. We don't get portrayed as the smart people. We don't get portrayed as the homeowners or doing anything that's positive towards the community, unless we're sports stars or music star. That's the only time we get portrayed positively in the media. Even then, there's probably sports star, why you doing this? Like Raheem, he just gets put down in the media when he's doing something positive, like shopping in Primark. Like, come on, he's saying why is he spending his money in Primark when he owns a lot of money? Like, why not? Kind of thing. So we already know the media is not there for us, so we needed to create our own platform so they can get those positive messages moving forward. I kind of went off. What was we talking about again?
No, don't worry, you never went off at all.
No.
All very relevant. So you know what, we got to understand that it is a bigger picture that's kind of informed where we're at. Media is playing a massive part, playing a massive part. So I'm also thinking, what about these rappers here? Because obviously it's selling and it's all over the radio and stuff. What if they wanted to do a different kind of song? How does that work out for them?
But do they want to? That's the thing. That's the thing, because obviously for them to start off, they were must have been doing these kind of music for them to bust in the scene in the first place. So it's clearly must be the thing that they want to do. So it's if they actually want to make cover songs. But like we were saying, there is positive songs out there, but they just don't bust because they're not exciting. They're not fitting the agenda that they want to push out there in the media. So it's just finding those positive songs. And like, I think if we want to talk about positive, like kind of UK music, Lady Leisha, I would say, is a positive one to kind of put, not always talking about disgusting things, not always talking about shanks and stuff like that, but then it's still got the grimy beats and stuff that, you know, the youth popular culture is. So there is positive artists out there, but they just don't get the, you know, the big platforms and the, you know, glitz and the glams like the other ones. But moving forward, because I said I did have a quiz for us to do about sex and the law. So audience can participate as well, but it's mainly for my man.
I might need some help, guys.
So the first one. So this is the importance of that you should know, like the knowledge of the sex and law. So these are just random 10 questions around sex and the law. So it's against the law for a 14-year-old to watch free porn online. True or false?
I'm saying false, because how are they going to regulate that?
Have we got any other people saying? Yeah, the answer is false. There is no law regarding viewing pornography on your own. Only guidelines. It's illegal to buy porn when you're 18 years old. However, there are certain subjects or images which are illegal to feature in pornography, including a film or image of anyone who is under 18, film or image of showing sexual assault or rape, film or image involving scenes of life-threatening violence or acts of that are likely to cause serious injury to a person's anus, breasts, or genitals. It is also illegal for an adult to show a young person under the 18 porn or allow them to watch it. So young people can access porn legally by themselves, but as soon as it becomes a group situation, as soon as it's an adult, you can't. Oh, see, my nephew's watching and now he just put a love struck face for watching porn. Oh, man. Even though he probably already knew it, damn it. So, okay, next question. It's against the law for someone under 18 to send their boyfriend or girlfriend a naked image of themselves.
I'm thinking it isn't, but then if it's shared afterwards, that's when it becomes illegal. Is that right?
True.
Yes, true.
It's against the law. So it's a criminal offence to take a sexy image if someone in the image or video is under 18. Someone taking an image with an under 18-year-old is basically making child porn, indecent image of a child. So that's basically child abuse. Even if they're taking the picture themselves, so even if it's a young person taking the picture themselves, they're breaking the law. They're creating a crime right there and then. So having that image on your phone and sending it to others and sending it to others and putting it on social media or criminal offences too. If the police get involved and decide to prosecute, then someone making or possessing or distributing these images can run the risk of imprisonment and be treated as a sex offender. So you get put on the sex offender list.
So let me
be really serious.
Okay, so let me get this right. So if somebody takes a picture of their own self, sends it to someone, that's against the law.
Just taking the picture is against the law.
Right. Okay.
If someone under 18 takes a sexy image of themselves, it's against the law.
So the only reason why I'm asking that, because I can see that's the sort of question.
It happens. It goes around in schools already, and it just goes off mad. And if they already knew that just creating that content is against the law, and I will kind of say, like, create content that you wouldn't mind your grandma seeing. So if you wouldn't mind your grandma seeing that, then do that. It's fine, but don't do it if you don't mind your grandma seeing it, kind of thing.
Yeah,
that's a good one to say to young people as well.
Wow.
So, next question. Someone secretly watching their friend have sex can be prosecuted. True or false?
Secretly? I think that's illegal.
Yeah, true. They can be prosecuted, but the actual act is called voyeurism. The compulsion to seek sexual gratification by secretly looking at sexual objects or acts, and can result in up to 2-year imprisonment.
Okay, makes sense.
Called voyeurism.
Okay.
Okay. It is classed as rape if a man forces a woman into oral sex. True or false?
True.
Yes, straight true. The Sexual Offences Act 2003 defines rape as an intentional penetration of the vagina, anus, or mouth with a penis without consent, and a reasonable belief of no consent, or of someone under 13. So if they're under 13, it's just rape straight away. Like, an adult shouldn't, that shouldn't even be happening. It's just straight, rape. So a man can be prosecuted for raping his wife. True or false?
True.
Yes, it's true. The Sexual Offences Act 2003 defines rape as an intentional... Oh, we already said that. So it doesn't matter if you're married, in love, or been together for 30 years. Without consent, it's always rape. Always.
Yeah. Always. Yeah.
So a woman cannot rape a man. True or false?
True. I mean, false. Oh, sorry, false.
So a woman cannot rape a man.
No, let me get this right now. They can.
They can rape a man.
Yeah.
Okay. By law, they cannot.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because they don't have a penis. Rape is only a penis.
In the eyes of the law. So what happens if they use?
So they can.
Or whatever else, or.
So for females, it'll be sexual harassment. So this is now the only sexual offence that can be carried out by a male because of the way rape is defined with a penis. Women cannot be charged with the offence of rape. However, in 2001, a woman was convicted of rape in exceptional circumstances. There is a new offence of causing a person to engage in sexual activity, which can be committed by a male or female and could be used to charge a woman rather than rape. So they can get the same kind of imprisonments and high levels as men as rape, but it's just not called rape in the eyes of the law. So there would be sexual harassment, it'll be sexual abuse.
Wow.
Rape. The next one. It's against the law for an over 18 that is in a position of trust to have sexual intercourse with a 16-year-old. True or false? So it's against the law for an over 18-year-old that's in a position of trust, like a teacher, social worker.
Yes. Yes, it's against the law.
Yeah. It's an offence for a person aged 18 and over to intentionally engage in sexual activity with a child under 16 who they're in a position of trust. So those times when the teacher's running away with the schoolgirl and stuff like that, it's against the law. It cannot happen. They're meant to be someone there that they can trust. So these are the conversations that you need to be having with young people. So when they say, oh, my teacher's fit and stuff, like, yeah, you can have a crush on your teacher and stuff, but just know that they can't abuse their powers of trust. They need to be someone there that you can trust.
Yes.
So if anything does happen, come and tell me, because they're not meant to, kind of thing. It's against the law to have sex with someone who doesn't have mental capacity to consent. So this could be someone who's got mental disability, dementia. Yeah. So
Yeah.
is it against the law?
Yes, it is against the law.
Yeah. If one party lacks capacity to choose whether to agree to the touching, whether it's because he lacks sufficient understanding of the nature or reasonably foreseeable consequence, lacks sufficient understanding of the nature of which is being done, or for some any other reason, this can lead up to 14 years imprisonment. So that's really bad.
Yeah.
It's against the law to force people into marrying someone. So forced marriage is against the law. True.
True.
Yeah, it's true. Forced marriage is against the law and people can be prosecuted. So you can definitely have arranged marriages when the young person consents to it, but forced marriages is against the law. And there is services that can help to support this and help seize passports if they're trying to go out of the country and stuff like that. It's against the law for under 16s to masturbate in a private place. True or false?
It's against the law for under 16 to masturbate in a private place. No.
Yeah, it's false. There is no law there is no law against masturbating in a private place, regardless of your age. So as long as it's in private, solo, by yourself, it's not against the law.
Do you?
Yeah. It's against the law for under 16s to buy condoms. True or false?
False.
Yeah, false. There is no law prohibiting the purchase of condoms by under 16s. So a 5-year-old can roll up to the shop and buy condoms if they want to. It's like literally no law, but I know that some shopkeepers will be apprehensive and feel like, why is a 10-year-old buying condoms? That should ring bells. You should start safeguarding is everyone's business. So you need to like start asking questions and stuff, even though it's not against the law, but it's still something that you need to ask questions about.
Yeah.
If you're under 16 and you need your parent and carers permission to access, parents' permission to access contraception and advice. If you're under 16, you need their permission.
Say that again. Sorry.
So if you're under 16, you need your parent and carers permission to access contraception and advice and sexual health advice.
No, not anymore. I'm sure it isn't.
Yeah, false. It is lawful for doctors to provide contraception advice and treatment to under 16s without parental consent, providing certain criteria are met. So these are the Fraser guidelines, the Gillett competencies. So these are the standard questions that doctors automatically do when talking with young people to make sure they understand what's going on, that they feel like they're that this is a choice that they understand that they can make by themselves, that they can go and talk to their parents. Because sometimes getting sexual health treatment is not always because of sex. Like a girl might have heavy periods and she might get the implant to just prevent the periods from coming and stuff like that. So be able to have these kind of things without, if you feel like you can't talk to your parents, is a good thing as well.
Yeah.
If a 14-year-old boy has sex with a 12-year-old girl, it is rape. If a 14-year-old boy has sex with a 12-year-old girl, it is rape.
Complex, I'm trying to remember. I'm thinking no.
It's true.
Wow.
Under 13 are deemed unable to consent to sex. It is an offence. Whether or not the child consented to the act is irrelevant. So anything with an under 13-year-old is just straight, just against the law. And the last one, a young woman under 16 can have an abortion without telling her parents. True.
Under 16.
Under 16, without telling her parents.
Oh my My days. I'm trying to remember that. I actually cannot remember. Help me out, guys. I'm saying true. I'm asking the audience.
Oh, and the audience say? Are we going with the audience?
It looks like it's true. Yeah.
The answer is true. Correct. Well done, guys. The Abortion Act in 1967 was amended in 1990. It applies to women wherever their age to be able to get an abortion. So you don't need to talk to your parents. But even though going to do that process will ring alarm bells for professionals to, alert, certain CAS and let them know the information and get all the safeguarding procedures put forward. But no.
Because what ultimately you do probably trigger off a safeguarding referral on it.
Most definitely. And for ourselves, if we're as adults suspected of anything, we can express our safeguarding concerns as well. Mainly for the Birmingham people, we will contact CAS, which is our, what does CAS stand for again? Children's Advisory Safeguarding something. But basically CAS 0121 303 1888 number. If you contact them and just let them know your safeguarding concern for any child that's in Birmingham, they should be able to flag that up and, get that sorted. And anytime you say a safeguarding concern, always follow up on it. Like, don't feel like you've done your job just by saying it. Always follow up on any concern, because you just want to see that it's got dealt with and that it's going to get dealt with. Because especially after watching that Netflix documentary, what was it called? Forgot his name, the little boy. The amount of safeguarding concerns there was for that little boy, and just if people followed up to just make sure things got done, he could have been prevented and his life could have been saved. So
yeah,
make sure you follow up.
So listen, that was a good quiz. It got everybody thinking about where can we access something like that?
Wow, guys. Well, obviously, Recall Youth is a startup organisation, so I'm looking to put on training for community, and I want it to be young people delivering this training. So it's got to be from young people. But I'm also looking to do like online quizzes and stuff via the Instagram and via my website as well. But I'm in the process of starting up, and I want this to be an organisation that young people goes out and educate. So not me, even though I'm amazing, but I want to empower the youth.
So peer education and stuff. I love it.
Exactly. If they're not always going to listen to adults, if they'll listen to their peers. So if the peers have got the correct information, what's better?
Yeah. I wish I had one of those sound effects that you can go. I'm telling you, because there's some straight up gems being dropped right now. Honestly. Honestly.
Nah, for real.
But yeah.
And also, just to touch on, when we was talking about just to plug few people, when we was talking about victim blaming and stuff, we've got Jessica Taylor. She's got her thing about victim focus. If you want resources around sexual health and around child exploitation, and just around the Being Me culture as well, Children's Society, I've got a bank of loads of resources on their website. If you want that Sex and the Law quiz, email me, come into my inbox. I'll send you that Sex and the Law quiz with the answers as well. Healthy relationships information, Bernardo's, they've got loads of information. They've got the around exploitation and the grooming line, and you can sit down and do quizzes off their website with your young people. Tell young people, if you don't want to talk to me, just talk to a trusted adult, someone that you trust. Make sure you just, alliterate that to your young people. Anything around domestic abuse, you got Naomi. Big up Naomi. So that's another plug. And when we was mentioned about sexing, so if you're worried that like anyone's been exposed or anything online, or you found something on the phone, there's something called CEOP online. It's child exploitation online. I don't know the full terms, but CEOP, CEOP, and you can report to them, and they will do their best to like remove it off the website, try and get it off the phone, and help if you want to prosecute in information like that. And also Bernardo's counter trafficking support helpline. They can help with anything if you feel like they're in a grooming situation, if they're getting exploited and in a negative relationship, they can help get you advice of support on how to get out of that situation as well.
Good. So, do you know what?
So and to get free condoms and sexual health, big up Umbrella, because they obviously run things in Birmingham now. So you can, while we're in quarantine, everyone can order an online sexual health testing kit. They can do it at home. You just go on the Umbrella website and you can order an online kit. You can also, when we're back out of lockdown, you can go to your local, sometimes in your GP, they might have Umbrella within there. So you can go to your local GP if you can't go to them major sexual health places. So yeah, Umbrella, if you go on their website, you'll get a lot more information around sexual health within Birmingham.
Good. So you know what, in this time of lockdown, so you know what I'm thinking now, if people were to DM you, get that quiz, run that with their children, opens up the conversation.
This is what and do the A to Z of sex, so you understand their knowledge of what sexual terms and information that they get in.
Yep.
And start listening out to the music that they're listening. Don't always force them to have their headphones in. Sometimes just listen to, the contents that they're doing, so you can unpick certain lyrics and be like, do you understand that? And stuff moving forward.
Absolutely. And you know what, for me, I'm thinking in terms of right now, using those tools to be able to do that as part of homeschooling.
Yeah, because they still need that PSHE lesson or whatever they call it. Now it's going to be SRE. So they still need that to come into the curriculum at home.
Absolutely. So this is the time when we can start looking at addressing and doing some counter-narrative work.
Okay, we'll put some resources in. We'll do a collabo, get them out there for the parents. Let's do that.
We got this. So we've got that. That's one of the things that we need to look at. I'm just looking at some of the other points that I've got written down here. You know what? And the fact is, even in terms of, if it was to just go back and make a point and make a joke at the same time, when looking at the music, I remember my mom telling me when I was a youth, boy, them tune, they're better than your book.
Why can't you go find a book and read? But sit down and listen to music all day.
That's such a thing, fabulous off the top of my head. I still know it to this day. But this is it. But it never mad me and told me fool. I haven't internalized it like that.
But was it because you was more likely getting positive messages from elsewhere though as well?
Yes, absolutely.
Because if you was just tunnel vision, just getting that, then it probably might have. But because you was getting, even if it was just from watching a film, you saw a happy family, you saw some kind of positive message. It kind of, distorts it a little bit.
And plus, I'm from that. I was brought up by a generation that was listening to all the Rasta music as well. So for me, I was blessed like that. I had a good grounding and foundation.
So it was conscious music.
Yeah. So when we look at things again, whereas I remember having a conversation with a brother, I speak Cypher Jules, and we was talking, we were saying, you know what, you see, one of the things about the kids that are coming through right now, they're brought up by the Garage Nation generation, as I put it,
from the Skin Up Nation.
The Funky House generation, and that